Welcome to Toffee Blue View, your source for all things Everton. Gerry, Terry, and Max here. Talk to you about starting 11 versus City this weekend. If we wanted to be jerks, this segment could be a minute long, in which we'd all just say the exact same thing. But I do think there's a couple of talking points that we'll get to. All right, so we won't be jerks. Max, who are your starters this weekend?
Pickford, Coleman, Keane, Mina, Digne, Gay, Gomez, Sigurdsson, Walcott, Richarlison, Bernard.
Terry. This could be kind of funny.
Yeah, but what the right honourable gentleman said, Pickford, Coleman, Keane, Mina, Digne, Gay, Andre Gomez, Theo Walcott, Gylfi Sigurdsson, Bernard and Richarlison up front.
And I will save time and say the same thing that those guys said, which is the same thing I said last game. All right? I think it's going to be the same thing. All right? Yeah. However, the not so fast, my friend, here is if Idrissa Gueye, as Terry mentioned off camera, I want to give him credit. Terry said this. If Idrissa Gueye is injured, what happens? Because he was applying ice somewhere in his upper leg region when he came off the field in the most recent match. If Idrissa Gueye is out, I'm a little frightened because I just don't want him to be injured before we actually start buying the players to possibly, spell him at times.
Hey everybody, Gerry here with an update as far as injuries go. Press conferences were today, and Silva confirmed that Ghana, Idrissa Gueye, is in fact a doubt for the City match. So all these what-ifs we were talking about may actually be realities. So there's that. Additionally, apparently Aguero and De Bruyne both trained for City today without problems. So they could be available for our match with them this weekend too. So the world does certainly seem to be raining excrement on us at this time. Yeah. Anyway, there's your update. Back to the show. Sorry about that.
Max, what do we do?
Stick Tom Davies on, let him score another wonder goal. You stick Tom Davies on, and I think you tell him to do the same job as what Garner would do. Obviously, he might not do it as effectively as Garner, but we were talking about it's a man marking job, isn't it? You pick one of those players that you think is going to be most influential in pulling the strings, and you just say, don't let him breathe. Be on him constantly. Don't give him the room or the time to pull something off. It's just a matter of thinking who would that man be. Initially, you'd say it'd be David Silva, but he's out. You'd say it'd be Kevin De Bruyne, but he's out.
Yeah.
I mean, Sergio Aguero's out too. So, this is a good chance for Everton, this. It's not City's strongest starting 11. It's still a very strong starting 11. But we've got the potential. I think that midfield is physically capable enough of being strong enough on the back foot and on the front foot. We know how fit Gylfi Sigurdsson is. We've seen how good Andre Gomez is. I think that midfield can cope with the persistent pressure. So yeah, I mean, if Gay was to be out, I would roll with Tom Davies.
Terry, I see you nodding.
I'm going to go one little bit left field. I've thought for a while, I mean, not based on anything, but just a hunch. I think this could be the game, and certainly the month, where we start to see the reintroduction of James McCarthy.
I saw this coming. As soon as you paused and you said, I'm going to go out left field, I was like, he's bringing up McCarthy again. I know he's going to do it.
He's been training in full training for a while now, and it would be a bit of a steep one to throw him back into away at Man City, but I think he's the best fit to replace Idrissa Gueye in a game like this, because Morgan Schneiderlin can also play in that number 6 role, but I don't think he's mobile enough or energetic enough to get about City's midfielders the way Idrissa Gueye would or James McCarthy would. You put James McCarthy in, yeah, he'll be a little bit ring rusty. Yeah, he won't be back to full ability just yet, but he will do a defensive, all action, tackle everyone job. And I just don't think any of the other players will do that. Tom Davies is probably a good shout as well. But I don't like Tom Davies as a defensive midfielder. I think he's much better in a more, I don't want to say advanced role, but sort of a more moving forward from deep. I think he's better on the ball than he is, being a destroyer type player. So yeah, I'd say James McCarthy.
Yeah, I think it would be Tom Davies. I think that's who we will see. But I think I would prefer McCarthy in that role. I agree. I feel like McCarthy is just a more defensive-minded player. I think he's more of a terrier, like snapping at heels, constant, or at least that's the player I remember. Who knows? He hasn't really played a really big competitive game in a long time. So it is a risk. But I think it's a risk to put Tom Davies in there. I think any player you put in there is a risk, period. It is a risk because we're playing City. And so do you put Schneiderlin in there, who is maybe the most immobile of the players who you could put in there, against a ridiculously mobile team? I don't think you can do that. McCarthy, coming off injury, may not be. I mean, he's probably fit, but could he play 70 minutes? That's a question. Because you play against City, you're running a lot because they're passing a lot. They run you in the ground. So can he handle that? I think Tom Davies is more equipped to handle that running. I'm not going to say it. I really wish Beningame had more experience. There, I said it. Okay. I feel like he gives us more quickness than Tom Davies. I just don't know. I worry about his inexperience in a game like this, though. So
you love Beningame, don't you?
Love that guy, man. I just feel like he's a player. I think it's a weird thing when you see a kid play with the U23s and you see them work their way up. You have a certain when you realize they're good early, and then you see them work their way up, you want it to work for them, And I think that's part of the reason why I love that guy. But I don't know. I feel like Silva respects him as a player, but doesn't think he's ready to crack into this lineup. And if Silva doesn't, let's be honest, he's probably right. Silva knows more than me. I know this is a news flash to everyone, but he's a pretty sharp guy. And he knows his squad really well. I don't have to worry about Silva the way we did about Big Sam, where we're like, does he even know that this player is there? I feel like Silva knows everyone really well. So yeah. So I think it'll be Davies, but I kind of hope it's McCarthy. I think that's a more like-for-like fit. Wow. That's a tough one, though. That puts us at a weird spot because that's one of those players that really we don't have anyone to immediately slot in for. That is a squad depth issue right there. A big one.
It is. I've said for a while now, I think he's the most indispensable player in that 11.
And yet he's the one that a lot of people want to replace right now.
Well, yeah, he's not playing his best football, is he? He's had a few bad games, and it's becoming quite apparent that he is the weaker of the ball-playing midfielders that we have.
Yeah. It's so one-dimensional. He's great at winning the ball back, but the creativity is lacking severely when it comes to...
I think he's getting more opportunities to show that. There's more, I think, due to the change in philosophy, he's getting more time on the ball. He's getting the ball in more advanced positions, and therefore, by default, because he's not as good as at those attacking skills, he's skying shots. He's misplaced passes. He's losing the ball. But I think that just comes with the territory of spending more time on the ball. And I've still got faith in him to improve those areas of his game, because as I said, athletically, the man's an absolute monster.
Oh, hell yeah.
So I think if he brushes up technically, I think he's a fantastic midfielder.
Max, whenever he lines up for a shot outside the 18, do you expect it to go on frame ever?
He's been really poor. He has been really poor the last 3 games. But if we play away at Man City without him, you'll soon want him back. You'll immediately.
Dude, he's a player. Like, I'm not in the let's sub Gay right now phase. I do think that if we are needing a goal late, he's a player I would sub out. If we had a more attacking-minded center mid to slot in, which I don't really know that we even have on our squad right now. I feel like that's a player we'd have to buy. David Silva type. Someone who could come in, play with Sigurdsson, but because Sigurdsson's touches, some brilliant soul put an article out there recently, and I wish I could find it in my brain, like what it was called. But they were talking about how Sigurdsson's touches are like almost all in forward positions, and rarely are they in the midfield. And so he's not really creating a lot of chances from the midfield. It's all from more forward positions. So we need more creativity coming from the center, coming from more centralized positions to be able to kind of link up with and that's just something we don't have. And we need that late in games instead of shunting the ball off to the wing every single time and crossing it in.
Yeah.
Where we're not really getting a lot of joy.
On that note, I've got a weird feeling if we roll with I think Richarlison's going to have a good game against this back line, I've got this innate feeling. I think it's going to pay off. I think, he's getting the goals, isn't he? That finish against Watford was fantastic.
They won't be as physical with him, I know that.
I think we could see him on the left with maybe CalvertLewin up front for that work rate and high press. I'd like to keep him up front because he scored, and I think he might get some joy out of John Stones. But I wouldn't be surprised. And I know Bernard's played quite decently against Watford in the first half, and he actually, despite being small, he's quite strong defensively. He protects his fullback, but I think it might just be a little Silva switch around if he was to bring CalvertLewin back in for this game, just because he knows he's going to be defending a lot more and having to press high.
I'm secretly hoping that Silva sees our shirts and gets it in his head to do some ill-advised Cruyff turns really deep. It's like, I remember when I used to do that. Let's, for nostalgia's sake, pull some of those out. And then Richarlison's just on his ass. That would be nice. That'd be great. I don't see that happening because since he's been with Pep, he's become a much smarter player.
Well, he messed up for that Luckman goal in that 4-0, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. That was early, though. That was early on. Yeah.
Hopefully he pulls one of them out the bag.
Oh, yeah. I'm very fine with that. So, guys, those are your main questions. Or if Gay is injured, who plays for him, and the striker-winger situation. We know Lookman is getting legitimate looks for starting every game now. He may not be starting, but he's at least being considered by Silva. There's some recent comments that came out this morning, I think, where Lookman was talking about how much the manager trusts him and how comfortable he is now. That was nice to see, to get some. You were seeing the confidence on the field, but to just kind of get that confirmation that, hey, these are the words that accompany that. It doesn't seem like he's itching to go back to Germany now, which is great. But that is another one you could see starting, though. I still maintain he's the most effective player off the bench that we have. No one makes an impact like he does. That's valuable, So, anyway, all right, guys. Anything else on the starting 11?
No.
Wonderbar. All right, guys. So that's it for our starting 11 segment versus City. Please subscribe to the Toffee Blues YouTube channel. We'd sincerely appreciate that. We're creeping up on 1,400 subs. People are saying some nice things, which is wonderful. And sometimes Liverpool supporters come on there and they're mean, and then we delete their comments, and we love it. All right, and it gives us views. It's wonderful. So please check us out if you feel like seeing our faces on YouTube. Check out Terry on the Liverpool Echo Fan Jury. Check out Max on lots of places, but on the Toffee Blues website. Please, just check out the Toffee Blues website. Lots of all things Everton on there. Lots of analysis. Follow the Toffee Blues on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And I think that's it, guys. If we could get 3 points this weekend, then that makes my the rest of my year. The rest of my year is a wonderful thing. All right. So, Terry, thanks again, man. It's good to see you.
Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me back.
Thank you for your time. Maxwell House.
As always.
Wonderful. Good things. Thank you, buddy. And, let's make this weekend competitive, shall we? All right. Bye.